You're listening to SM Media. Hi folks, and welcome to our latest episode of SM Media FC. Welcome to our latest episode where we are going to bring back a popular segment in last year's run of podcasts. We are going to bring back the Scottish Premiership Fantasy Draft. So this is the show where we invite some panellists on and we, one by one, pick our best teams, and at the end we do a wee vote. So if you've seen the show last year, you kind of know how it works. I will just introduce our panellists before I run through the rules. And I should say we have done the draw, we have done our formations, and I will just reveal them before we pick our first choices. First of all, joining me, welcome back to the podcast. A pleasure to welcome Samuel Porritt.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, as always.
Pleasure, mate. Welcome back from the prediction show, Charlie Whelan.
Thanks very much for having me back on. As you say there, Scott, I'd rather we didn't run through my predictions in this one, but
we'll get that in the end of the season. It's a pleasure to welcome for his first time on the show, Ethan Hampton.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
Absolute pleasure. And welcoming back as well, she's been on a few times. You can see her as well on various other podcasts, Jenna Thompson.
Hey guys.
It's an absolute pleasure to welcome you all on. Right, let's just run through the rules before we get into this. Okay, if you've seen the show last year, there's actually 5 panellists on. There was 4 last time, so we're going to have 5 players, obviously. This time out, it's going to be a 1 to 5 serpentine order. So basically what happens is, first player picks first. We go 1 to 5 and then 5 to 1. So Charlie's drawing the short straw and picking last, but he will be picking first next round. Okay? So if you're in that order, essentially there's no advantage and disadvantage. Okay? Despite having the first pick, it'll kind of work out as well. Everybody's picked a different formation, which we'll get into in a moment. We can't have the same formation. You can't pick more than 3 players per one team. So, for example, you can't have 4 Celtic players, and do you know what I mean? Like 4 Celtic players, 4 Rangers players. It's 3 players per team maximum. Players have to fit their position. So, for example, if a player isn't a player's still available, but you need a right back and he's a right winger, you can't have him in there. They've got to fit their position. Okay. Loan players count as players of their loan club. So, for an example, if anybody wants to pick Tavares, who is a Motherwell loanee but on loan from Hibs, he counts as a Motherwell player, so it doesn't affect your Hibs balance, things like that. Quan as well, Hibs and loan from Celtic, he would count as a Hibs player. No trades. Once you've picked them, you can't change. You're allowed 1 non-Premiership wild card. So if you're getting to the stage where you don't really think anybody fits your position, you can go into the Championship. You don't have to, but the option's there if you can. You're allowed 1 non-Premiership wild card. And once we've done our picks and the show goes out, we will do a vote on our social media to see who has the best team. So let me just run through who's drawn the team. So Ethan has the first pick, and he's went for a 4-3-3. Jenna has went second, so she's going for a 4-4-2. Samuel in third is going for a 3-5-2. I am fourth. I've went for a 4-2-3-1. And Charlie has went for a 4-1-2-1-2, so essentially a Christmas tree diamond. And we are going to just give it a go. So let me just get this ready. Anybody, any sort of strategy here, what they're going to do? Are they looking for any sort of method here? If they get anything up their sleeve? Anybody want to fill me in before we go?
absolutely not.
Not giving any secrets away yet.
So one thing I will say as well is obviously the main thing is obviously I've got a pool here. There's players that I haven't included, but you don't have to go. I did send you all out a pool. You don't have to follow that. If there's players I haven't brought up, you can obviously include them. So let me start with Ethan. Ethan, you have the first pick. Now, if you've seen past drafts in likes of NBA, NFL, you can kind of make or break your whole legacy with this. Okay, so think back to classic number 1 picks of the past. LeBron James went number 1. Do you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
He's done all right for himself. You've got the chance here. Who you got first? Who's the one player that you want to go for? Who's fitting the bill?
My first pick would be Cameron Carter-Vickers of Celtic.
Okay, what is it about Carter Vickers that has meant his box office number one pick?
Well, I think the most important part of the team is its spine. So
Okay,
I had a think to myself across all the gifted players across midfield, front line, and in the defence. And for me, Carter Vickers is one who could, I think, I can't really conceive an argument for him not being the best in the division. He,
okay,
he just seems to improve that Celtic side so much when he's on and his absence is very notable as well, which I think does a lot for a team that tends to dominate games, win games quite comfortably. Um, so yeah, I thought in terms of prioritising who's going to be my top pick, I feel it's got to be probably the most sought out player in the league in my view.
okay. Jenna, you're next. You have the second pick. Who are you going for in the second pick?
Kyogo.
Okay. I thought you were going to maybe go somewhere else, but I imagine he'll still be in the board. Kyogo for Jenna to start her team. Samuel, 3-5-2. Who's going into the team first?
I'm going to take Callum McGregor from midfield. I think it's kind of self-explanatory. Obviously been so good for Celtic for so long and right in the middle of a pitch. Very important.
Okay, so we're on all Celtic start, and I'm next, and I'm not going off that train. I think the most informed player in the league right now, and I'm sure you'll all agree, he's picked up his game to a tremendous level, and I'm really glad he's still on the board. I am going for Nicholas Kuhn. I think the way he's brought his game up has just been tremendous. I think just overall, obviously the stories coming out was there was a dental issue last season. He looks to be well over that. And you've seen the performances. I'll be very surprised if he's a Celtic player at the end of the season. So I'm going for Nicholas Kuhn. Charlie, you've got the last pick of the first round. Who are you going for?
I see you've scuppered me already, guys. I'm gonna go quite interesting for the first one. I'm going to go for Lennon Miller. I'm going to put faith in youth here. It's a very interesting pick, I know, but you've actually just taken me away for the NFL there. So I was getting in the draft spirit. You need to think about draft value and where you're taking it. So I just don't really see anybody else that's got the cut and clear first round value, because you could argue that maybe Miller should be a bit further down. But listen, I don't care. Just go for it. Lennon Miller.
Jenna, you're obviously a Motherwell fan. I'd imagine that's probably a gut punch. But in terms of Lennon Miller this season now, obviously you can tell that the potential and the talent is there. For someone, obviously, because of how impressive he is and because of the kind of having his dad, who was obviously a very good player in his own right, what is it about Lennon Miller you think? I think he's Motherwell's best product since James McFadden. Is that fair?
Oh no, definitely. If you listen to the past couple of years, it's only really coming off the back of last season. Other clubs have kind of started to pay attention to him. He's been a standout for us since about 2022. Stephen Hamill brought him in because obviously Hamill was the youth set before he became the manager, but he's impressed us for the last, try to matter, about 2-3 seasons now. I'm absolutely, because I had him in my midfield, so thanks. You've completely disrupted my draft pick. I have to pick someone else now, so thanks.
Obviously, the fees are floating about. I've heard of 4-5 million. If you were the Motherwell chief executive, what's the absolute minimum you would let him go for?
7 with a sell-on clause.
Okay, I genuinely think he could get that. Like, I genuinely think he is the most exciting player in Scottish football at the moment from an under-21. Surprised that he's not been in the Scotland setup, Jenna?
Oh, yeah, that whole argument of he needs to build up his game time is absolute nonsense. I'm sorry, this is going to sound bad, but I think Stevie Clark's only came out and said that because he's not playing European football. I think that's the only reason why he said it, because neither Stevie Clark, he's probably going, he's not tested himself against a higher caliber of opponent, which I can see the argument, but at the end of the day, though, he's doing it for the under-21s at national level. They'll have some good players, but I don't see a difference, to be honest. If you can see like the Ben Doak and that, he's obviously not doing it, but maybe that's just me being biased. I could be wrong, but
I think you're absolutely fair with that. Right, Charlie, you have the first pick of the second round. Where are you going?
Well, I did go very much NFL college draft type age range, or actually more of a kind of Kobe Bryant or LeBron James coming out of high school type age range. I'm going to completely flip it on the basis that he's definitely not going to be here when I pick again. I'm going to go a goalkeeper, and there's only one name there, isn't there? It's going to be Kasper Schmeichel.
Okay, so Kasper Schmeichel goes in the second round. Kasper Schmeichel, obviously, Charlie, an upgrade for Joe Hart, do you think?
Very much, aye, and doesn't he? You don't want to take too much away from Hart, but there's a lot of times that you see a save and you instantly think Joe Hart doesn't get that, even though they may be the same age. I think as well, though, the big thing that everybody's talking about is the distribution. As much as I don't think Joe Hart was as bad as we maybe all thought he would be with, the ball at his feet or getting it out, but it's night and day, really. I mean, the way that Kasper Schmeichel can ping a ball is like a midfielder, so yeah, I think he's been a massive upgrade, and as I say, it's no disrespect to Joe Hart. He was a brilliant character, and it's just a shame that he too is also winding down the years in his career so far.
I think Celtic will get a couple of years out of him, right? I am going next, and despite his form this season, let me just run through. I think he's only scored 1 goal in 13 games this season in the league. I still think Lawrence Shankland is on his day the best finisher in the league, and I think he has to go. I have to get him in early. People will say, "Oh, he's on form. He's nowhere near that." I still think Shankland can kick on this season, and for me, Lawrence Shankland is going in the second round. For me, Samuel, you are up next.
Yep, I'm going to take
Pick the
Dimitar
Celtic player.
Mitov.
Mitov, okay.
Yeah, Dimitar Mitov, yeah. Saw him at Saints last season, obviously, and I think outside of Kasper Schmeichel, he's up there for best keeper in the league. He's only gone from strength to strength, and he swept up at our Player of the Year awards last year. He was incredible. Playing international football. Yeah, going to take a safe pair of hands between the sticks.
Are you surprised he's went on to be as important as for Aberdeen?
Not at all. After seeing him last season, no, you knew he was only going to be here for a short time. Yeah, probably the best Saints goalkeeper I've seen, and that's a big statement, but probably the best keeper I've seen at Saints.
Better than Peter Enkelman, anyway.
Yeah, a wee bit anyway.
Better than
Jenna.
Alan Manis.
Likes a spectacular more than Alan Manis, but maybe not. I don't know. Tough one, but I think he just takes it, just about.
So Dimitar Mitov, 2 goalkeepers off the board already. Jenna, who's next? Who are you going second?
I'm going this. It's not actually Championship wildcard, but it'll probably be a bit of a wildcard because I don't think a lot of people would have really considered him. But I'm going to go with Jack McKenzie from Aberdeen for right back.
Okay. For right back?
Yes.
Okay. So Jenna takes Jack McKenzie in the right back position for her second round pick. Ethan, you've got a wee bit of an advantage here. You've got 2 picks. Where are you going?
Next pick, I'm going to go for Tate.
Okay.
The Celtic trend of my team, as I say, building the spine is my priority. And listen, a cornerstone of a great team is its midfield dynamic. For me, Celtic have the best midfield in the league. I had that last season, when I think it was quite clear the gap between them and the nearest side of that, that trio last season. That was, of course, McGregor, Hatate, and O'Reilly.
Mhm.
O'Reilly, of course, is up the frame, but the other two, again, they're absolute mainstays, and rightly so. Obviously, McGregor has been swapped up, so I'm more than happy then to at least secure Hatate services in my lineup.
Okay. And you have the third pick. Who are you going?
And for my next pick, I've got off guard there a little bit, actually. I'm going to go for Jack Butland at Rangers.
Okay. It was my next pick. Okay. So 3 goalkeepers off the board. Jack Butland goes third for Ethan. Jenna, you've got your third pick. Who you got?
To be honest, I'm doing this one just before anyone nips in and gets him. I'm going for Jack Butland and goals. Obviously, I knew Smike would go straight away. It's a bit of a tactical play with this one. Butland, I know Rangers haven't been great lately, but at the end of the day, still a phenomenal keeper. It'd be daft not to have him in the team.
Jack Butland's just went for Ethan.
Oh, damn it. Thank you. We take my draft numbers there. Disaster. Right. I'll go for that Oxborough for us.
Okay. So you are going for Oxborough for Motherwell. Okay. You were impressed with him, so Jenna?
Oh, he's nice compared to Liam Kelly. Honestly, it's like it'll sound so daft because this is the bare minimum from a goalkeeper. But see, having a goalkeeper's not afraid to actually come out of his box and can actually pass the ball without just hoofing it up the park and hoping for the best. Makes a difference. Who knew? Who knew? But honestly, it has been unreal. Like difference, like things like that. The fact, kind of like when we were talking about Schmeichel earlier with Joe Hart, it's like you actually see a save and go. Liam Kelly would never have had the confidence to go out and try and actually make that save. Kelly would have just stood and let it happily go by and then look and throw his hands up as if to say, "No, it's not fair." He is so much more confident. The fact he was somehow kept out of the team for the past 2 years, I've got no words for, because he should have been starting for us all of last season, never mind the season before it.
Had I not been able to secure Butland, Oxford was actually going to be my next pick for goalkeeper. When I commentated him for Parker in the season, I didn't have many saves to make, but I did think to myself that just in terms of his, I don't know if I'm going to use the right terminology, but just his structure,
Yeah.
big, strong, powerful, it seems to inspire a lot of confidence in that defence as well. But my first thought was that's the kind of structure in a goalkeeper I could see going really far. And when I say really far, I mean the height of the top level in England. It's what I saw in him. So I agree. Very good goalkeeper. Motherwell, I think they got him on a new contract this season as well. They've done absolutely excellent to tie him down.
I think they've got until 2026 or 2027. I think it's one of them, because we signed an extension with him and someone else, and the way the dates signed up, one was till 2026 and one was to 2027, but I just can't find the order.
Okay, so Oxford goes third for Jenna. Samuel, you've got a third pick here. Who you got?
Yeah, I think I'm going to pick maybe a bit of an unpopular, and I'm going to take Cyril Dessers up front. He might miss a lot of chances, but he also scores an awful lot of goals. And I think compared to the other strikers in the league, he'll certainly be up for top scorer. That's what I'm going to go with.
Cyril Dessers did not get picked last year at all, so I'm very surprised he's went this early. But yeah, it's very much the good and the evil with Cyril Dessers. But yeah, he does get numbers. I'm going to go for another winger, and I think I'm getting my attack in early, but I think he's the hardest working player in the league. I'm going for Dyson Maeda in the third pick for my left wing. I think, again, you can't fault his work ethic. Very, very underrated output, I think. He does get goals. For me, no brainer getting him in the team. I'm glad he's still in there. Charlie, who you got? You've got 2 picks.
I'm going to take Alistair Johnston with my first one. I think we kind of now get, in terms of, as I say, my value here, no looking at a lot of your sort of out and out superstars here, so I'm going to go with Johnston. I think ultimately get as many Celtic players in as possible, and I think that goes for everybody. He's been, I'd say, near faultless. I think it was his second season last year. There was a couple of times he was a bit shaky, but it's, in terms of Ralston came in as well before he came in, and he was a changed man. But the fact that Johnston was able to essentially walk in, I think speaks for itself. So he just made his 50th cap there in about 3 years for Canada. So I think for me it's a no-brainer at this point. I'm going to take Johnston. He's my second Celtic pick.
Okay, who you got in the first pick of the 4th round?
That's a good question. Do you know what? I'm going to use up all my Celtic slots already. I'm going to go with Adam Ida on the basis of what he gives you up front. He gives you a bit of frame, a bit of height. I think we've seen at the end of last season a lot more than so far this season what he can do. And if Brendan can get me anywhere near that level again, I think we'll be all right. He's shown glimpses of it so far, and I think the fact that Kyogo's not been quite firing, but I think so far we're taking players based off of their peaks for clubs so far. So I'll take Ida for a wee bit of stature up front.
Okay. I am going to Aberdeen for my 4th pick. I think someone who's been excellent so far this season and looks to be very much the type of player that Jimmy Tillene wants. And for my right back, I'm going to go for Nicky Devlin. So that gets me a defender in. Samuel, your 4th pick, who have you got?
Yeah, I'm going to take, for my kind of left mid, left wing back role, James Penrice from Hearts.
Okay.
I think he's a really good player in his day. He's equally adept at going back as he is forward as well. Just a positive player to have in the team as well. Yeah, I like what I see from him.
Brilliant. James Penrice goes in for Samuel. Jenna, 4th pick, who you got?
This one wasn't in the draft pool, but I'm happy to argue the case to anyone to listen. I'm going centre back Declan Gallagher for Dundee United.
Okay. Declan Gallagher goes fourth for Jenna. Ethan, you have two picks. Who you got?
So I'm going to start working on my front line now. I'm going to have Duke of Aberdeen on the left hand side for me.
Okay.
Again, a player that previously, for me, when you had the kind of peak of Duke and the Miovski relationship, obviously Miovski is the one that went on for the big money fee. I was always of the view that when I watched the two of them, Miovski was a great goal scorer, but Duke had just a bit more of ability in comparison. And it's a great dynamic. There's other examples of that similar striker dynamic I can name, and I have another one in mind which also makes this team. Alongside Duke to lead my line, I was going to go for Adam Ida, but he's obviously been swallowed up now. So my striker leading the line is going to be Benjamin Kimpioka of St Johnstone.
Damn it.
You know, for me, it's the same thing. When I watch Kimpioka compared to Sidibe looks like more of a goal getter, but it's Kimpioka that's got the ability, strong as an ox. He's out of contract as well in the summer. He will not be shy of any offers. He's an absolute joy to watch. And from a Dundee perspective, of course, it's a bit before my time, but I would compare it to the likes of the Juan Sara Fabian Caballero partnership. Sara was the goal getter. Caballero seemed to be the more mercurial and better of the two players. Same in my eyes, as I said, Duke compared to Miovski. Same here, Kimpioka compared to Sidibe. So that's the two forwards I'm adding to my team, Duke and Kimpioka.
5 goals in 11 games in the league so far, Benjamin Kimpioka. Samuel, what is it about him that has really impressed this season?
How long do you have? He's absolutely rapid, but he's also, I think the thing that's impressed me most recently is his attitude. He runs from box to box, he tracks back. He's also not shy of taking a defender on. He's a good finisher as well. I mean, he's got 10 goals in all competitions this season. The last Saints player to hit more than 10 in the season was Danny Swanson in 2016-17. So for me, he's an absolute joy to watch, and I'm gutted because he was my next pick. He's and he's only 23 years old, maybe
Yeah.
just 24. So yeah, he's going to go far, I think.
Yeah, he looks a talent. Jenna, who's in the fifth round?
I don't know how to play it. I'm trying to think tactically here for who to say next because I'm getting scared someone's going to snap this person up. I'm going to do it just before anyone else does. Callum McGregor for in the midfield.
He's gone as well.
Is it? For God's sake, man. Ugh. You need to stop doing this. I'm looking at my backup options. Right, okay. Tell a lie, right? Gonna go with Liam Gordon. It plays for us. For defence, obviously not at midfield.
Yeah. So Liam Gordon. So you've got Gallagher and Gordon in your defence. Liam Gordon, obviously, this season has really, obviously, played 9 games. Obviously, came over for St Johnstone. What do you think of him so far, Jenna?
Honestly, he's so underrated for us. The way he's able to kind of command himself almost is admirable. He is not afraid of anything. We've been missing a kind of psycho defender that'd be willing to slide tackle their grand to get in line at the bloody, what do you call them? The pie stalls. He's that type of guy for me. He's just not afraid to make a tackle. Dodgy or not, that's fine. I don't mind if he gets a yellow card or red card as long as the tackle's worth it. He's going to be that wee bit of a maniac in defence for me that's no afraid to potentially studs up. If I'm not saying you should play like that, but he's not afraid to be a bit of the villain, and I love that about him. Honestly, he's one of my favourite defenders.
Obviously, formerly of St Johnstone. Samuel, you've got the next pick. Was Liam Gordon on your radar? Or are you going elsewhere?
Yeah, he was one of my options. Love
God.
Liam Gordon. St Johnstone captain, obviously, for a few seasons. Won the cup double. A lot of respect for him. But next pick, I'm a bit of a crossroads. I want to pick, so you can argue the position. I want to pick Nicky Clark next.
Okay.
Won 5 goals this season. Really sprung back to life. I want to pick him in attacking midfield because that's where he's been playing this season. Is
Okay.
that within the rules?
No.
He's got the captain's armband. He's started to drop deeper and he links the play so well. I think he's so important to that Saints side and he brings a great mentality to the team.
So you're going to play him as an attacking midfielder.
Yeah,
That's
just
fine.
behind the two
Yeah,
strikers.
he has been playing there, so I will give you that. Nicky Clark obviously going next for Samuel. I think I need a midfielder, and it's actually took me 4 rounds to get into a Rangers pick. And I'm actually surprised it's taken me this long. Now, I'm not a big fan of the Rangers defence, but I do think they do have a decent midfielder. Formerly of Aberdeen, I am going to put Connor Barron in there as my fifth pick. I think he's kicked on. I think he's got real potential to improve. I think in there he's got the energy I want in a midfielder. And for me, Connor Barron goes in as my fifth pick. Charlie, you have your fifth and sixth pick. Where are you going?
I need to start working on this defence, I think. I'm going to take John Souttar, and as long as we can take his Scotland performances, then I'm fine with that. I thought he was very good the other night there as
Excellent the
well.
other night, yeah.
So that's the version of John Souttar I'm putting in my team here, so I think I've got great value there. I haven't watched a whole lot of Rangers this season, shock horror. So I just go off of who I've seen less hounded on Twitter. That's how I rate them. Because in all honesty, none of them were really that impressive back at the start of the season there at Parkhead. So I'm going to go with him on the basis that I do need to start probably getting a wee centre back pairing on the go there. But we're looking all right for the other option there. I'll just select him. And who am I going to go? I'm going to go for Jamie McGrath out on the left of my diamond. Depends how far out wide you want to put him.
Okay. So, Miller and McGrath. Okay, it's fine. So, McGrath goes in sixth for Charlie. Did I go back to Rangers? I don't know. I need a centre back pairing. I need to start of a centre back pairing. I think I'm going to go for Lewis Mayo of Kilmarnock as my first centre back. So I think he goes there in my sixth pick. Samuel, you're up next. Where are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to take as my first centre half, I'm going to take Frankie Kent from Hearts. I am always
Okay.
impressed with his quality on the ball. I think in a back three, he'd be really useful. Yeah, I think he's just a quality player.
Frankie Kent for Samuel. Jenna, your sixth pick. Where are you going?
Oh, I'm nervous for this one. I'm gonna say Mark O'Hara in midfield from St Mirren.
Okay.
Former Motherwell man, so technically because he played for St Mirren, it's not a Motherwell pick, but based on how he was playing for us at Motherwell anyway, he was an absolute standout player. I miss him dearly, and this is my plea for him to come home.
Okay, so Mark O'Hara goes for Jenna. Ethan, you've got 2 picks. I'm surprised you haven't went Tayside yet. Is this where you go?
Maybe, maybe not. If you've swallowed my centre half options that I had planned, but I need to bulk up this defence. So before he gets nicked, next up I'm going to choose Corey and Dabber of Kilmarnock to be my left back.
Okay.
Um, Now he is predominantly a left back for Kilmarnock, has a history of playing centre half. I believe he was centre half before he actually signed for Killie, even having a spare at rivals Ayr United. But he, from what I've seen of him, he is a bit of a monster. More than just defensively minded, he seems to be the kind of player that has this quality of when he can progress the ball forward, it really gets everyone else up forward too. From left back, it's quite unusual. A full back kind of leading the attack. It tends to take a special caliber of player. To me, not of the same vein, but that's a kind of quality that Owen Beck had for Dundee last season. So, yeah, so Corey and Daba makes my team. They got a bit of a chin wiggle now, as I said, because centre half options kind of all been swallowed up. So I'm going to have to revise that, I think, for my next pick. Um, so I'm going to go into my midfield, look complement Rio Hatate, and I think I'm going to complete my Celtic trio with the addition of Luke McCowan.
Okay. I did think you would go there. You obviously joining from Dundee on deadline day. One thing that's impressed me is the way a lot of people who can say like I was a fan of a club can sometimes struggle with the pressure. I don't think Luke McCowan has. Would you go along with that?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. He's a very very brave figure as well. With regards to his Dundee career, I mean, he came in as a winger that seemed to be a bit of a confidence player early days. And the revelation that we've had when he moved into midfield revolution wasn't just down to playing ability. There was very much a personal side of him where he began to take on a lot more responsibility, not just in terms of play, but I think in terms of his character, growing a lot more. He ended up becoming our temporary captain for that exact reason.
Mhm.
So I think those qualities all kind of seem to grow with Luke McCowan last season, just at the right time to really produce what is actually now a very good signing for Celtic. And yeah, sometimes, as you say, players can have that bit of pressure on their heads. Playing for the boyhood team, you can try too hard, but that's not the case with Luke. I think he's the kind of player that relishes it, plays without fear, and that comes a long way into having a very good, successful career. Of which a few years ago he was part time with Ayr United. Now playing in the Champions League with Celtic, deserves everything he goes his way. And for me, one of the best players I've seen play for Dundee, especially in midfield. The only one I think I could put ahead of him would be the likes of Charlie Adam.
Okay, interesting. I think Luke McCowan will kick on at Celtic. Jenna, your seventh pick. Noticing your midfield to attack maybe needs a wee bit of depth. Is that your next option?
So I've had a howler, like reading the draft sheet, I read it wrong. I stupidly was reading it on my phone, was trying to blow it up best I could. Didn't realise, I thought to myself, I was like, Jack McKenzie isn't a right back, but I was like, I saw his name on the right back, but I never realised that the tiny LB had changed. So this is going to sound daft now because I've only now just realised that mistake. But I was going to fire in my defence one. I just wanted to say that before I say this. I had put Stephen O'Donnell down. So
Okay.
technically, just imagine those two on opposite sides, basically.
Right, so you want Stephen O'Donnell right back and Jack McKenzie left back?
Yes, that's the way
Cool.
it should. I read the draft sheet wrong. I was thinking to myself,
That's okay.
Jack McKenzie's a left back. But I was like, oh, maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I've not watched Aberdeen enough to realise this. So I promise, I know Scottish football. I promise I
That's
do.
okay. So that's obviously your three Motherwell players.
Yes.
Right, that's fine. Okay, so no
Can't not
worries.
my sod's in the team. He's an absolute angel and he can do no wrong. And if anyone brings up any certain performances other than Wembley, that's all I'm going to say. I'm having Wembley, Stephen O'Donnell.
So Stephen O'Donnell goes number 7th for Jenna. Samuel, where are you going?
I'm going to complete my centre mid pairing and I'm going to put Arne Engels in with Cal McGregor. I think
Okay.
he's a talented player, maybe not showing it as much consistently yet, but I think he'll get there and he looks like a talent.
He's playing right now for Belgium, so must be doing all right.
Doing something right.
Yeah, so Celtic's record signing, obviously £11 million. I would say obviously there's a lot more to come of them. So obviously Engels goes for Samuel. I want to get another Rangers player in, and I'm going to go for Nadim Bayrami. I think obviously attacking midfielder by trade, been playing a lot on the left because Rangers have no options there. Naturally an attacking midfielder, so I think with Kuhn, Maeda and Shankland, I think there's goals in that attack. I'm going for Bayrami in my 7th pick. Charlie, you have 2 picks. Where are you going? Because you need quite a bit in striker, attacking midfielder. Need a lot here, mate. Where are you going?
I'm hoping that I have a bit of value here in the latter rounds. I'm going to go with Jefte at Rangers once again. I haven't watched a lot of Rangers this season, but just like Suter, I've not seen him slagged as much as others on Twitter. So I'm going to go for him. Try to get this defence almost sorted out. I think we're looking all right. We're looking on track there. I don't know if I like this double pick. It makes you think on the spot, doesn't it?
It does, aye.
I'm going to go with Martin Boyle out on the right. He's going to be my, if we kind of think of this diamond a bit, if we've got Lennon Miller in behind the strikers, then McGrath and Boyle, they can come out a wee bit.
I think you're going towards more of a kind of 4-1-3-2. Is that fair?
We'll go with that.
Aye. Go with that.
There's only a certain amount of age you can manipulate 11 football players in a
That's
pitch,
fine.
isn't it?
That's fine. So, yeah.
Aye, so we'll go for that.
Martin Boyle. I think that's the first Hibs player picked. I'm surprised it's taken that long. Do I want I think I need a goalkeeper. Who's available? I think all the good ones have been. Nah, maybe not. Robbie McCrory goes next for me. Former Rangers player, now playing at Kilmarnock. Robin McCrory goes 8th for me. So, yeah, 2 Kilmarnock players. Don't know if I'll use a third. We'll see how that goes. But all the goalkeepers have been taken. Samuel, you have 2 centre-backs, a right wing-back and a striker. What position are you filling?
I'm going to take one of my centre backs and I'm going to go for Robbie Dees. Again, good on the ball, strong in the tackle. I think he's a really reliable centre back and always liked him since he was at Inverness. I wanted Saints to sign him. I think he's an impressive player.
Right, so Robbie Dees goes for Samuel from Kilmarnock. Jenna, 4 picks left. A striker, left midfielder, centre mid, right midfielder. What position are you going for?
I'm gonna as long as nobody's picked him because I've lost track of who said who, to be honest, right? But I'm gonna go with Jamie McGrath for Aberdeen.
I think
he's been picked as well, I think.
He's went as well.
I took him.
Definitely. For God's sake, guys. I thought this 1 second would actually be no bad, but see, never actually on the midset, I've lost complete track of who said who, right? So again, gone with what I know best. I'm going to go with Blair Spittle for Hearts. Again, seen him with Motherwell, he did quite well for us. I know he's not really properly picked up paces yet with Hearts, but I know the potential is in him. He's actually not bad since their new gaffer's been in charge, but Hearts haven't seen the best of him yet. We've seen what he can offer. I think he will add quite a lot of depth for us. I say us as if like I'm talking about Mull here, but we're talking about my lovely wee squad here. I've not given my name yet, but I think he'll do no bad.
So Blair Spittle goes for Jenna. Ethan, you get 2 picks. Right back, centre midfielder, right wing. Who's the best available, do you think?
Yeah, the right back one is actually quite tricky to an extent because there's so many options. I think that's maybe the one I feel a bit most spoilt for choice. Left back as well, to be fair. Now I've got a pick here for right back. Now I just want to clarify. I'm going to say his name. Obviously, I mean to pick him. I'm convinced no one said him yet. I'm quite surprised. James Tavernier's not been picked, has he?
James Tavernier hasn't been picked. I was just about to wonder when he would go. Now, if anybody remembers last year's show, James Tavernier went second. He's now in the 8th round. Does anybody think that kind of tells that he's maybe lost? Like from this time last year to now, I know this is obviously not in comparison to Rangers. That's a massive, massive statement for me that he's went so far down the list. Has anybody else noticed that he's regressed?
Well, it's the 4th right back, isn't he? So he's a 4th choice right back, if I'm right in saying that.
Yes.
It tells a story, doesn't it?
I think it does. I even seen him against Saints this season, you could notice a difference. Definitely.
Well,
I think when the team's not doing so well, the captain's always going to get a bit more stick than anyone else. There's a lot of what do they call it? They call it loser mentality with him and other sort of key figures. You've also got to remember that in the heyday of Rangers' recent history, he was very much in the front lines of that success. And of course, in terms of what I'm thinking of, I think when you see him leave Rangers, yeah, they absolutely could maybe use someone new there and just something fresh, a new breath of life. At the same time, if he leaves and they don't recruit properly, I think they might realise just how much they're going to miss him and how big the character he is. You've got to remember he's in the Rangers Hall of Fame. I think he's the only player still playing for them. It's in their Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And of course, he's a reliable, again, for what it's worth, I know he's a right back, but a very reliable set piece taker, penalty taker, always has goals in him.
Yeah, he's dragged them out of a lot of holes over the last few years. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Even against teams like Servette in the European qualifiers, it was him who was at the back post. But ultimately, if you play too long, it's a slightly one-dimensional way of playing as well. He's always been brought up for his defensive issues. Yeah. Does that start to slow down? I've always thought he's been a bit unfairly treated because he's a captain. I know, like you say, captain and the manager are the guys who are always going to take the flak, but look at some of the dross that he's had around him for years as well. So as much as I hope he stays forever and ever, I think he's always had a wee bit too much flack on him.
Yeah, well, he's a match winner in that aspect, but still I think there's a lot of quality in him, and rightly so makes my team.
I think the big thing with Tavernier is, and I was keen to get your thoughts, obviously you look at the top goal scorers for Rangers the past 3 seasons, it has been Tavernier. Rangers don't have a lot of goals in their team, but I look at when he is particularly against Celtic, obviously Maeda's had the makings of him, but I look at games, particularly the cup semi-final against Motherwell. He was really really poor, and I think then that was when I kind of realised he can't do what his body wants it to, and when you get to that stage, it's just downhill for there, and I think that's where Rangers are at with Tavernier. I wouldn't be surprised. I do think they've got good options in the and behind likes of Sterling. I think will be the kind of successor. I think Casemiro come onto a game, so it's not like Rangers are going to be without him. Rangers' spread of goals needs to come from other players, not Tavernier. So I do think this will be the kind of last time we see Tavernier. Right, Ethan, you have another pick. Centre back, centre midfield, right wing. Who have you got?
Yeah, I'm going to complete my front line. I'm going to have Danny Armstrong on my right wing.
Okay.
I can't remember the number bang on from last season. I believe it. I think it was not maybe in like a 30 goal contribution range. It was something absolutely obscene. And he's a player I can recall playing for Wraith Rovers and thinking that Dundee should have been on him on a flash. Just that pinpoint crossing ability alone is probably second to none, really, from what I've seen across the league. It just the precision is always bang on the money. And like I say, not surprised that he was racking up all the goals and assists that he was last season in a very high flying Kilmarnock team. I still think he's very much their best attacking player, a good creative influence. So in my front line, I've already got firing power and Kempioka and Duke, who also have their own sort of creative influences about them to a degree. But now Armstrong, he is all service, with obviously an eye for goal too. So I'm more than happy to get him in my team as soon as possible.
Brilliant. Jenna, you have your ninth pick. Right midfield, left midfield, and striker. Who's number 9? Who's the ninth pick?
As far as I know, no one said this, and if no one said, I'm absolutely goosed because all my other backup picks have been said. But I'm going to go with Rubizic from Aberdeen. Please tell me
Okay.
I said him. Please.
Yeah, where are you putting him though? Because you have a right midfielder, left midfielder, and a striker.
I'm going to put him down as striker.
Rubicic.
I like to be wild with this, right? Because my
Okay.
other options in midfield have all been taken. So I'm currently going through the draft, but I had Rubizic picked out. I was like, you could probably do it me a stint for all of them, but I don't know because
Okay. Remember when I said they have to fit the positions though?
ugh, he's the only one I've got now because all my other mids have been taken. He was my last backup player. Give me 2 seconds if I can reread the draft sheet, please, because
Right.
I've been struggling to read this because I'm jumping between screens of my phone here.
Okay.
All of you evil, evil men have been stealing my player.
Okay.
I think, to be honest, I want to go for Aberdeen because I've only used one of Aberdeen, and the rest of my players, again, they've all been snaffled. I'm going to say, I don't know how to pronounce his name, so please don't shout at me in the comments. I'm going to say Guy. Is that how you say it from Aberdeen? Guy?
Jai, yeah. Yeah,
Going to go for
Papa
right,
Jai. So straight
right wing.
Papa Jai's a right wing. Okay. So Pape Jai goes number 9 for Jenna. So remember, you've got a left midfielder and a striker left to fill, and then
Right.
your team is set. Samuel, you have a centre back and a right wing back. Is that right?
I think I've got a striker as well to pick.
Striker, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
I'm going to make a bit of a maybe a unexpected one, but it is largely based off of one game. But I'm going to take Marvin Coletta at right wing back from Motherwell. I thought he was brilliant against us, and I was so
Okay.
impressed with his energy, his power. He put in a brilliant cross for the first goal. I thought he was excellent.
So Coletta goes number 9 for Samuel.
Right, sorry, right wing back. Yeah,
Right wing back.
Yeah,
That's fine. Yeah,
So-
that's fine. Number 9, I've got centre back, left back, and centre midfielder. And I'm going to go to Dundee for my 9th pick, and it's the left back, Ziad Lakechi. I think that's how you pronounce it. Am I right?
It's pronounced Larkesh.
Lakesh.
Yeah.
3 goals from 12 games. Obviously, the left back position was a big position to fill after the impressive Owen Beck last season. Has Lakesh filled it, Ethan?
He's certainly done himself no harm, has he? I wouldn't say he's up to the exact same standard as Owen Beck, but I wouldn't say he's also all that far away either. Similar to what I said about Corey and Daba and his quality, isn't the same with James Tavernier as well. The ability to progress the ball from full back, inspire attacks. I feel it's really refreshing to see it now in a little bit of abundance because it used to be sort of football was getting played very robotic, and we didn't have enough of that with fullbacks. More of an old school thing in my view. But yeah, Marquesh, excellent going forward, superb defensively as well. And he was actually a slow burner to begin with when he first broke through. First few games, we were beginning to think, oh, he doesn't really look up the pace. Um, and if you were to stop the season right now, season ended at that moment in time, and the clubs were all forced to do their kind of the Player of the Year awards and such. Larkesh should be Dundee's winner as it stands. He's been in recent weeks specifically absolutely outstanding, and we're going to miss him. He's unfortunately injured for a few months. He hobbled off at Pataudry. But yeah, no, he was in my reserve list for left backs. Very very tough not to have him with first place spot. But yeah, very impressive player, and I think QPR will be absolutely pleased with his progress at Dundee.
Brilliant. Charlie, you've got three positions: centre back, defensive midfielder, and a striker. Fill two of them.
I'm feeling all right for up top, so I think I'm going to save that for my last pick. I've got a very interesting wildcard backup for that in case all fails. I'm going to put Alex Gogic in front of the line. I'd like a wee bit of psychotic nature in my team here, so I'm going to go for him. I'm sure he'll rough the team up a wee bit.
Okay.
And of course, this is pre-injury Ross Graham, but I'm going to go for him. I think Dundee United have been not the surprise packages, but technically they did come up and they've been doing ever so well. So, and their defence has been a big part of that, isn't it? So I'm going to go with Ross Graham and next to John Souttar to complete my defence.
So Ross Graham goes in 10. So Charlie has a striker left to fill. I've got a centre back and a centre mid. I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to fill my Celtic connection. I think I've still got a Celtic player and put in Paulo Bernardo with my 10th pick. I think him and Barron will give a good level of energy. Samuel, who's your 10th pick, centre back or a striker?
Yeah, I think at my final centre back, I'm in a bit of two minds. I think I'm going to go for Akko Wright from Ross County.
Okay.
He's big, he's tall, he's a threat from set pieces. Scored a late goal against St Johnstone earlier this season, and from the two games we did play against him, I thought he was a tough player to face. He's physical. Yeah, I think I'd like him in that back three just to provide a bit of height, and maybe the other two are better on the ball, and he can kind of be that threat from set pieces.
Okay, so Aki Wright goes 10th for Samuel, so a striker left for Samuel to complete his team. Jenna, you have a left midfielder or a striker for your penultimate pick. Who you got?
I'm praying that Ethan's not said this person. I am praying. I don't remember him saying him. But has Simon Murray been brought up yet?
No, he hasn't.
Put him down for striker then.
So Simon Murray partners Kyogo in the striker position. I remember a couple of people on our prediction show saying that Simon Murray would be the signing of the season. Simon Murray's done okay so far at Dundee. We always knew he would because he can score goals. But Ethan, he's done okay.
Yeah, he's been a great influence. He's the current captain at the moment. Club captain Joe Shaughnessy is out with injury. Vice captain Trevor Carson's out with injury. Luke McCowan was then given the armband and sold to Celtic. So the armband's fallen onto Simon Murray for now. He's been great. I actually like that he's complimenting Kyogo as well. Because between the two of them, I think that's a great pressing forward line. Yeah, listen, the minimum you ask from a player is to give 100%, and because Murray, of course, grew up a Dundee fan and everything, he gives a lot more than that. I know that for a fact, on and off the park, he is so committed. And in terms of performances, we've been more than happy with his output. I want to say the record right now, it must be he scores once in every 3-4 games. It's decent, and for a team that like us, we're currently probably underperforming in terms of what we know we can be. Yeah, we're still very much pleased with his output, and there's certainly going to be more to come from him. I mean, 32 years old, and he is fit as a fiddle. He signed on a 3-year contract, and that for a 32-year-old to be getting that kind of contract, I think it speaks a lot of volumes about Simon Murray and about how he keeps himself fit. Obviously, about 20 odd goals last season. I think he must be on about 8 goals in all competitions, maybe 9. Again, I've not memorised the numbers, but no, he's been a very good signing for us, and one that I don't think you'll find a single Dundee fan that'll bark at the idea of him starting in our lineup or the fact that we bought him for a fee in the summer.
I seen him get flung out of Wonderbar about a month ago as well, so clearly his talents are in drinking as well as in football.
That's just Londonian, isn't it?
My pal asked to get a photo of him. He actually had a Queen's Park fan, so he was loving it, and there was a security guy with him. The security guy told him no, and Simon grabs Adam's phone and he just takes a photo with him on it, and then about 5 minutes later he was gone. So it was a footballer's night in there, as it pretty much is every Saturday night, but it was pretty stacked that night, I'll tell you that.
Ethan, you have 2 picks to round out your team, a centre back and a centre mid. Finalise your team.
Yeah, so this has been pretty challenging, and I've got a spot for centre half for a player who I think undoubtedly great for quality. Not played an awful lot. I think it's down surely to injury, and they've probably been missing his services for centre half. I'm going to go with Craig Halkett of Hearts. He's one that when he was really at the top of his game at Hearts, I think there were shouts for him to be involved in the Scotland national team, and I remember being firmly behind that. Frankie Kent, I think, was the stand-up for them last season, but a pairing of Kent and Halkett, I think, is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal side for Hearts, but unfortunately, they can't seem to kind of get them together all so often these days. So yeah, I'm more than happy for Craig Halkett to be in my back line to complement what's already there with Cameron Carter-Vickers specifically. Also brings a lot of leadership too. And now for the centre midfielder, I'm stuck between 2 options. I've got one option who I know is a nice, safe play. Then I've also got this devil on my shoulder, and it's a complete wild card. But the thing is, no one else is going to pick said wild card. I know this, so I'm really battling this. I'm going to play it safe. I'll reveal what the wild card was going to be though. Anyway, I'm going to go for Hilton Nielsen of Aberdeen to complete my midfield 3. From what I've seen of them, the boy is a complete Rolls Royce. And there's a lot of top Aberdeen midfielders this season. Graham Chinney's been excellent. The boy, was his name Polvara, I think, was previously at Man City, handpicked by Mikel Arteta. Again, had some injury issues, but Nielsen seems to be the top of the crop in amongst that. So yeah, that's how I'm going to complete my team, is with Nielsen.
So Ethan completes his team. Jenna, you have one more pick in left midfield. Who completes your team?
Again, I'm begging I haven't missed someone saying this, and I've just read my camera's been off. I'm so sorry. I've been trying to jump between the notes at my phone.
That's all right.
If that's been off, I'm so sorry. I'm going to go with Danda for Hearts for my last winger.
Okay.
Has he been said? No.
I don't think so. No, he has. Yeah, you're good way.
Try to figure out this, try to keep track of doing this. That's why I've been jumping between notes apps and photos.
Okay.
Oh, the joys of having a laptop camera that's not reliable.
That's okay.
Your phone.
Just remember, we all have a minute to sell our team at the end, so remember to have a note of your team. Samuel, your last pick as a striker. There's some good options available. Some I wish were in my team that haven't been picked yet. I kind of think I know where you're going. Just tell me, just confirm it.
Yeah, there's kind of what Ethan was saying. There's a devil on my shoulder telling me, and I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna pick Adama Sidibe. I'm gonna go into the bias. Absolutely love him. He's not been in the greatest form as of recent, granted, but when he's on his game, he's an absolute joy to watch. He takes a shot on from anywhere, and I think he's him and Kim Pioka. I wish I had Kim Pioka myself, to be honest. I think he's contracted, I think, through to 2025, Sidibe, so hopefully plenty more of him in St Johnson shirt.
My last pick is a centre back. Now, there's a few options I can go down, but I'm going to go. I don't think I've got a Hibs player in here. I'm going to go for Marvin Epkepeta for my final pick. He's been impressive so far this season, obviously joined from Blackpool. It was a lot of chat about him coming into the season. Scored in his first game, I think, for Hibs in the League Cup. Has played every minute so far. Played every game so far, I think, for Hibs. He started every game anyway. I don't think he's missed a game. I don't think he's been off. I think he's played every minute, just looking at the stats I've got here. 29 years old, former, I think he was an England under-21 international, I'm pretty sure. He could be the missing link for me, so I'm going to put him in there for Hibs for my final pick. And Charlie, round out the draft. Who is your final pick for the striker position? Are you using your wild card, or are you looking at the options in the Premiership?
You know what? Aye, why not? Let's use the wild card. Let's have some fireworks to end off the draft. I'm going to go with my good pal Dominic Thomas at Queen's Park. He's just returned from injury there as well. I'm sure he'll give us a nice bit of leadership considering he's a captain there. I'm just looking and try to build a nice fun team here. I'm going to put him in next to Ida though, almost as a wee sort of you play off Ida. He's definitely played everywhere in the front line, so I'm going to put him there. He's got speed, he's got a wee bit of skill. He's certainly got a magnificent goal in him. If of course we look back at that when he scored at Falkirk at the start of the season there. So, aye, why not? Somebody needed to use the wild card, didn't they? So I'm going to go with Dom Thomas to sit in next to Ida. So we've got a nice wee big and small type dynamic going on up there.
Nice, and that completes our teams. You will get a minute to sell us on your team, to sell the viewers on voting for your team in a moment, but I'm just going to run through some of the players that weren't picked just to see if there's any that you wish you'd been able to take. Look at it. Just looking at some of the positions, there was Ross Laidlaw, Ryan Strain, Greg Taylor wasn't picked, a couple of Celtic defenders, Austin Trusty, Liam Scales, Beningame wasn't picked in defensive midfield. A couple of interesting attacking options. Leighton Clarkson wasn't picked, neither was Mohamed Diamande or David Watson. Lyle Cameron wasn't picked, which I'm quite surprised a certain member of the panel didn't pick. Václav Cherny, Topi Kiskinen, Shane Morris weren't picked. And on the left side, you had the likes of Eli Yuan, Trapanovsky, Scott Tiffany. Strikers, I'm just going to run through some of the strikers that weren't picked. Danilo, Kevin Nisbet, Kukarevich, Olasanya, Sokler, Anderson, Ayunga, Vassell, Sam Dalby, Jordan White. Anybody wish they'd taken any of those players?
Probably Austin Trusty, to be honest. I forgot to write him down on my list, so I would have had him at centre back. But other than that, I think pretty happy with my team.
Charlie, any players you wished?
I'd love to have Cameron in my team, but you know, I'm going with a very good structure here. I feel there's more than enough creative influence on my side, so I wanted to just reinforce a bit of steel. I think was the right way to go.
Okay, Charlie, any players you wish you'd have taken?
Do you know, I actually had my eye on Simon Murray there. I thought we could have a nice physical front line, so I thought I'd just swap him out for his old teammate at Queen's Park. But apart from that, no, I've kind of got my sort of rankings here on the sheet of paper. No, I'm happy with that. You know, maybe a Beningame or somebody like that in the midfield instead of a Gogic. But no, apart from that, I'm quite happy with that.
Jen, any players you wish you'd have taken?
Yep, because I thought half of them were already taken because I lost track of everybody else's picks about like 6 rounds into this. But it's fine. I've had an absolute howler here, but I'm embracing it. I'm embracing it.
That's okay.
I've picked the shithousery team for a better word, right, to describe it. You know what? That's my selling point there. I don't even need the minute. Just if you like a bit of shithousery, go for my team. Thomas United.
Okay. So if you like shithousery, pick Jenny's team. Ethan, sell your team. Why do you think the voters should pick you as the winner for this?
Well, I think I've went down a very sensible path with the structure, to be honest. I think when you've got the likes of Jack Butland, who last season was probably the best goalkeeper in the league for me. I know he's not been up to speed this season quite in a struggling Rangers side, but between Butland, Carter Vickers and Daba Tavernier, I think there's more than enough of a solid back line. And some great set-piece takers there as well. I've got corners coming in from Danny Armstrong. I've got free kicks coming from James Tavernier. Penalty kicks from James Tavernier. And in terms of that creative influence, Cook and Armstrong, and they can make chances out of nothing, as can Luke McCowan. I've got this nice midfield dynamic, Hilton Nielsen to set, Hatate box to box, and McCowan, whilst he has great box to box and defensive qualities as well, he's my main creative outlet from midfield. So I've got guys that can make chances out of nothing, guys that can score from nothing, a very compact and steady defence. I think it's completely solidified. And of course, Kim Pioka, he can score with any body part, can't he? Head, right foot, left foot, doesn't matter. Nice, quick feet. I think that the dynamic of this team serves very well.
Okay.
It was all fronts, really.
No, well sold. Samuel, tell us why we should vote for your team.
Well, I think it's a team with a good amount of pace in it. I love the flying wing backs. You've got James Penrice and Marvin Coletta both going to be causing problems at both ends. Back three, solid. You've got height in there, ball playing ability. Dimitar Mitov at the base as well in goals. In my opinion, the best shot stopper in the league. We've seen him save. He makes the saves in the big moments. He likes a wonder save, penalties. And then up front, you've got that kind of Adam Sidibe, Cyril Dessers are going to run all game, and Nicky Clark will pick up the scraps and link the play. Arne Engels and McGregor in midfield as well. You've got some good creative influence. So, yeah, I'm quite happy with my team.
Excellent. No, it's a really good team you've picked. I really like my team. I think there's a good level of stability in there. You've got Robbie McCrory in goals, Scotland international. You've got a lot of balance in right back. Nicky Devlin, I think, has been much improved, as is Lewis Mayo, Larketch, Epiketa. I think it's been good as well. I think my attack is stacked. Nicholas Kuhn, Maeda, Bayrami, Shankland, I think absolutely excellent. Midfield's pretty good as well. Bernardo and Barron, a lot of energy in there. And I think you should just vote for my team because it is very, very good. Charlie, sell your team.
To me, we've got a very fun team here. You've got pace, but you've got a wee bit of muscle. I feel like in all areas of the pitch, we've got a wee bit of something different everywhere. You know, like up front, we've got that big and small there. You've maybe got a bit more of a creator on the left with McGrath and a bit more pace on the right with Boyle. Ultimately, I can't really sit and make the excuse of I had the last pick there and that it might throw me off guard a wee bit. However, I feel like we've picked a squad that if you put them together, they'd be alright. They'd be fairly consistent in the league. However, I do believe, like I say, it'd be a very fun watch to watch this team. You've essentially got five guys playing in the attacking part of the pitch. You've pace, power, wee bit of balance. Of course, Lennon Miller gives you a wee bit of flair in there as well. Plus, Kasper Schmeichel can put a ball anywhere on the park. So, in Joe Biden style, that's why you should vote for me.
Excellent. Right. Somebody's what to say about their wild card. I think, Ethan, if you had a wild card, who would it be?
Yeah, it was. When I said wild card, I forgot all about the lower league thing. For instance, it wasn't a wild card from the lower leagues, but it was actually, in fact, the Premiership player. That was when I told you about the devil on my shoulder for a player that I knew was not going to get picked, and he wasn't picked. Just because he'd been completely forgotten about. So this was for the midfield pick. I went for Helton Nielsen to sit in deep. Now across my team, I would say between Butland and Daba, Tavernier, McCowan, Armstrong, Kempioka, and Hook, they're all in their own right match winners. This guy has, not the reputation for being a match winner. In my eyes, if you realise correctly, could very well be that way. It was actually Hadji of Rangers. I was going to throw him in because he's a player that I've always admired when given the opportunity, but for some reason, the Rangers career hasn't really seemed to work out. I know he's now somewhat back in the fold. I think that first game back under Clement, it was an assist and a red card. It kind of personifies his Rangers career so far. But I think he's extremely talented. And again, in terms of creating chances, making things happen, getting bums off seats, he's of that caliber, a real throwback player. So he was my almost in that midfield three, but at the end I had to just go for, I think, that little bit of reinforcement defensively.
I was going to pick Brad Spencer of Falkirk if I was going to if I was going to use my wild card. That was the only one that was kind of screaming out to me. Maybe Ollie Shaw, but I think there's a lot more. I think there's strikers. I like the boy Dalby, is it, at Dundee United? He's really caught my past few weeks. Ola Sanyets at Mirren, I think, has been pretty good. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce his name, Jenna. You can if you want. The striker. Is it Stan?
But I don't say it either. I just say that Australian fella and leave it at that.
I wrote his name on my hand when I was commentating at Fir Park to remind myself how to pronounce it. Like I was writing it in stages. Honestly, everyone was laughing at me. I was warming up. I kept getting tongue-tied. That was an absolute nightmare. But I think on the mic, I was fine. But yeah, I don't even remember it. It's I need to make it my hand again.
Ethan, don't get me started. I didn't say his name once. I let the main commentator about that day. I was like, avoided him the whole time.
Stananopoulos or something.
Aposta.
There's too many P's and L's.
Stamapolopoulos.
Yeah, that's
if you do know how to pronounce the Australian striker at Motherwell's name, then leave it in the comments below. But we are going to wrap up there. I've thoroughly enjoyed that. I'm going to thank all the guests for joining me and let you know all how to vote. If you follow the link on Twitter, YouTube, you'll be able to vote on there. and we will find out who has the best team of the fantasy draft. It's been a pleasure to welcome my guest tonight. First of all, Ethan.
Thank you very much. No, I really enjoyed that. That was really fun.
Brilliant. Jenna, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
It's been good. It's been intense. It's been scary. And again, I promise I actually do know Scottish football, but I've had an absolute howler with this, but I'm embracing it, and I'm embracing it.
It's okay. That's what the draft is for. Samuel, thanks very much, mate. I've enjoyed it.
Yep, thank you. It's been a fun time. I had a good laugh, and yeah, loves talking about Scottish football at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And to Charlie, mate, thank you very much. Enjoy that as always.
It's been a good bit of fun, like I say there. I mean, probably missed the second half of the Miami Dolphins game, but there's no better way to spend it, is there? Looking forward to the next one, mate. I'm sort of looking forward to coming back at the end of the season, but we'll see.
We'll see how the predictions go. Thank you very much to everyone who's tuned in, folks. Please subscribe to our YouTube and podcast channels and follow us on social media for our Scottish football coverage. Thank you very much, folks. We'll see you all soon.